Boy Ben Mahari here, representing Mahari Nation Sports Podcast, man. Going to go outside here today, man. Try to enjoy the outdoors and all that other stuff. But I want to give a major shout out to all my subscribers out there, man. I know have not been going live as much. I've been busy with a lot of stuff there, man, and I'm gonna get into some of the details about that in a few minutes here. But the course of this video is that I'm here to talk about my thoughts on the Wilder versus Fury 3, fight, and give some of my analysis of it. So when y'all come into the building, make sure to smash the like button as you come on in, and we're gonna get down to it, right here, right now. So I can get this going. There we go. So last night, I really felt that the fight, was an excellent fight. You know what I'm saying? I really felt that it was a legendary fight that was gonna go down for years to come. One of the classic trilogies you'll ever see in the heavyweight division. You know what I'm saying? But there's so many things about the fight that really frustrated me just watching it from the TV screen, and that was the fact that Wilder, to me, didn't stick to his original game plan that he had set forth during training camp. What I'm talking about is that the fact that he did not commit to not stay to that body attack game plan that was set and granted for against Tyson Fury. The problem that I saw was simple as this. Round one, Deontay Wilder did an excellent job going to the body. He did some jabs to the body, did some hooks to the body. He really got Fury, confused a bit because Fury expected Wilder to pretty much go, upstairs a lot. But after the first round, it felt like, Wilder just abandoned that game plan altogether. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that Fury came back with a lot of the same counter rights that he'd been throwing throughout the fight. But the thing that really irritated me, that really frustrated me about Wilder was that he relied so much on that right hand. He was too dependent on that right hand as the fight went on. And he continuously kept swinging for the fences, hoping to try to hit that right hand. And Fury was not going to let him hit him with that right hand. And the third round was really a precursor to what was going to happen in the 11th, because pretty much after that, Wilder was fighting with his hands down. He was getting exhausted a lot by expending so much energy trying to swing for that right hand. And he was able to come back, with the two knockdowns in the fourth to pretty much put himself back into the fight. And I actually had him by at least by 1 point. But then after that, Fury did an excellent job of feinting. He did an excellent job of setting Wilder up, for his counter right hands. And when I hear people talking about, well, Fury, grapples a lot. Listen, it's boxing. Grappling, headlocks, those things happen in boxing. This is not a sport that is made for the faint of heart. All right? If you're not willing to put anything on the line to win the fight, you know what I mean? You're going to lose. You're going to pretty much lose. And so, as I saw the fight went on, I saw Fury doing an excellent job counter right hands. You know what I mean? Excellent 1-2s. You know what I mean? And the thing that really irritated me about Wilder was that he just continuously kept swinging for the fences for that right hand, and he never varied his attack. And you can't do that. And I think to me, what it comes down to is that the skills pay the bills. Now, if you guys listen to me on 503 live stream, what frustrated me was he didn't commit to that body attack. But the skills pay the bills. Now, keep in mind, Deontay Wilder, started boxing very, very late in his early 20s. He really to help one of his daughters with spinal bifida, right? And so he was pretty much, he wanted to do something to try to support his daughter, and he became a top-notch fighter out of it. While Tyson Fury, on the other hand, has been pretty much boxing his whole life. His father was into boxing, his uncle was into boxing, his family was pretty much a fighting family, And so, what's up, y'all? I see y'all in the building. I see William School Arnett in the building. I see Kay Harris in the building. What's good, man? I see Terry Smoke Jr. in the building. Hey, what's up, man? Wilder was into the equilibrium. Yeah, he was, but bro, lots of fighters get hit on the top of the ear a lot. I mean, it's not like it's a huge surprising thing. I mean, that happens, more often than not. But yeah, Wilder's ear really, was trashed up pretty good in the third fight. I will tell you that. But right now at this stage, there's no shame in losing twice to a fighter that's just better than you. And what really frustrated me about last night too was that people were coming around saying that Wilder was a bum and all that other stuff. Like, listen, you could have your opinion, but it's a flawed opinion at best. Because here's the thing: Wilder, 2 losses were against Tyson Fury, who's just a superior boxer than Wilder. It's no shame in losing 2 fights. Like, sometimes I really get irritated when people say, "Oh, Wilder lost 2 fights, his career's over." Like, no, it isn't. No, it ain't. All right. There have been a lot of fighters that has like 1 or 2 losses on their resume, but it hasn't stopped them from being the best fighter they can be. You know what I mean? And so, really, what it comes down to is, Wilder will bounce back. I think that he's back, and I think he'll have another opportunity for a championship down the line. That's what I really think. But as far as the landscape of the heavyweight division is concerned, Wilder and Joshua are on the outside looking in. I mean, you think about this for a moment. If Fury could have accepted the $50 million deal that was right on the table for the face against Deontay Wilder for all those belts, we could have had Undisputed a while ago. But, he listened to Eddie Hearn far too much, committed himself to a dumb deal with the Zone, and now he's locked into that deal for life. And now he's got 2 losses, bad losses. One against Andy Ruiz, who was basically a last-minute replacement for Gerald Miller, and then all undersized heavyweight in Olasena Usyk, who was cruiserweight, who was undisputed cruiserweight champion in that weight class. So I think the person that really suffers the most is even AJ too. You know what I mean? Because Wilder, you could pretty much say he fought against Fury 3 times. AJ can't say that. He can't, because he never fought against the best heavyweights out there, while Wilder has. He's fought against Luis Ortiz twice. He's fought against Tyson Fury 3 times. I mean, that in of itself is pretty much an excellent resume in of itself. Okay? And plus, he still has the highest knockout ratio in all of boxing. So, it's tough that, that Wilder did lose in the way he did. But after he got hit very hard, towards the 10th round, it was pretty much the inevitable of heading towards the 11th, because Wilder pretty much was expending so much energy trying to hit him with that right hand. And when you're facing against a guy who's about 277, and let me take care of the sunlight real quick. There you go. That's a little better. When you have to face against a guy that's pretty much, weighs 277 leaning on you, it's kind of understandable why Wilder had to put on that much weight, to counter that kind of leaning. But, Fury has the job he made on him, you know what I mean? Hitting him with inside uppercuts, hit hooks inside, those kind of things. And it basically, as the fight went on, it started to build. And so, it is what it is, man. And, Fury is pretty much the best heavyweight in the division right now. I mean, we know that AJ is regressed. All right, Usyk is a unified champion, but there's many people out there who think that if they put him in there against Fury, Fury will crush him, and I agree. You still got Wilder. Even though with its 2 losses, I think that he's still going to be in mix for one of those championship belts down the line. Okay, and then also Jared Miller. Let me tell you something. Jared Anderson, I should say. Jared Anderson. I'm gonna tell you something. He's gonna be a future world champion in the making. The kid has got the moves, but more importantly, he's got the power. So I'm telling you, Jared Big Baby Anderson, you better be keeping an eye on this kid. I'm telling you, better keep an eye on him. So let me go ahead and check out the chat real quick. He said the air he took in the second fight hadn't gone away. Yeah. He said the damage that Wilder's taken against Ortiz and now Fury is too much. I don't want to see Wilder end up like my hero Muhammad Ali. Listen, it's up to him what he wants to do with his career at this point. If he wants to continue on fighting, he's gonna have to really realize that his training and the things he's been learning, he's gonna have to make an adjustment to it. I don't know if he could do it at this stage right now. He's 35 years old. All right. Just remember, he started his boxing career, very late. So there's going to be a lot of things that's going to have to really improve upon it if he wants to continue on fighting and continue on being, being one of the best heavyweights in the division. But if he decided to retire right now, he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, you can't take away his knockout, percentage. You can't take away his knockout streak. You can't take away his consecutive title defenses. All right? You can't take that all away from him. He's pretty much an accomplished heavyweight, and you could pretty much put him in there as one of the best American heavyweights in boxing. All right? Now, as far as Tyson Fury is concerned, he's finally defended a belt for a change. Because remember, when he beat Klitschko for them belts, he never defended those belts because he got himself into trouble with drugs and, with, some sort of, mental problems. So, what I hope for is that we get to finally see Undisputed. If Fury gets an opportunity to fight against Usyk for Undisputed, I'm all for that. And I think at this stage right now, I think Fury is going to pretty much go in there and dog walk, Oleksandr Usyk. Listen, the thing with that fight against AJ is AJ's too robotic. With Fury, he's not. He's more fluent, he's slicker, and he has a better boxing craft than Joshua. I think that Joshua is going to be on the downside for now, and I think that, Fury has a better chance of being undisputed at this stage right now than would say, than Usyk would be. So I could picture a scenario where they probably going to hold off Usyk for a little while up until the time when they pretty much said, hey, let's make the fight happen. I can see that to be possible because I don't think Usyk's manager is going to want to put him in there with Fury right away. I think they're going to probably do a rematch with AJ, in my view. You know what I mean? Get the rematch with AJ, that they beat AJ again, then maybe discuss about, a fight with Fury. But as far as Wilder is concerned, I think he can fight against maybe Robert Helenius, who really did a good job last time. And here's the other thing about Robert Helenius that really annoyed me with him was he was beating the hell out of Adam Kornacki throughout the whole fight. He swelled up his left eye after the first round. And what really frustrated me about Kornacki was that he was trying to find a way out because he was getting tagged up big time. But also Helenius was playing around with him too much. Like, bro, you got this man beat. All you gotta do is just hit him with some right hands and get him out of there. He's very, very beatable. Like, Adam Kornacki is just completely overrated, bro. Whoever decided to try to make this guy into a championship contending fighter, like he is not that type of fighter. I'm sorry. Like, he's more of a gatekeeper at this stage than a championship contender fighter. So I think that at this stage, I think Wilder could be better off fighting against Robert Helenius, get that kind of win on his belt, and then hopefully maybe fight for a WBA or an IBF championship if one of those belts become vacant, because at some point that the sanctioned bodies will probably not want Undisputed either. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. The card was really good. I gotta say, F.A. Jabba Ben, he's not gonna be a world champion. I think that he's very athletic, but the boxing skills are not there at this stage. And I like F.A. Jabba, but F.A. Jabba, he's not gonna be the goods, man. I just think that his boxing skill set is not world championship quality. If you can understand where I'm going with this. Because Sanchez pretty much, dog walked him and basically outboxed him the whole round. I probably only gave F.A. Jabba one round. That's how dominant Sanchez was. So, at the end of the day, man, it was a really good card, and I really enjoyed the card as well, man. So it is what it is. But as far as the landscape of boxing is concerned, I really just have to sit there and say, like, we need more of the younger boxers out there in different divisions to start taking these fights, start facing against the best fighters out there. If Wilder was able to do that for Fury and for Ortiz during that period of time when he was champion too, why can't the other champions out there do the same? And the politics of boxing just drives me absolutely nuts. It's one of the reasons why I don't do many boxing videos at all, because it's way too many politics in boxing, way too many maneuvering, way too many protection plans for certain fighters, and it's like you're taking away what boxing should be at this stage. Boxing should be what the UFC is right now, where pretty much the best fighters fight against each other. You know what I'm saying? And so that fight last night between Wilder and Fury was pretty much, in my personal view, was a fight that really boxing needed more than anything else, because it's been much suffering since the pandemic started. And so, it is what it is, man. And I really was impressed by both fighters. And Fury, silenced all of his critics about the stuff that was happening in the second fight, and pretty much proved himself why he's the best. And so, there's no shame in losing to a fighter that's better than you. And Fury's gonna have a lot of options available out there, but I just hope that he just stays out of trouble and just does not do anything stupid. I don't want to see him, give up his belt again for over some dumb stuff. I hope I don't see that. But as far as Wilder's concerned, his career ain't over yet. But I hope that he improves something in his boxing game that's going to keep him in the sport for a while. If it has to be his defense, conditioning, something to really help improve his game. Because I was kind of like, man, he was taking a lot of shots last night. And since Fury is not really much of a power puncher at all, for him to take that much punishment, it's like, I'm kind of concerned of the fact that if Wilder doesn't improve something in his arsenal, I'm afraid that he's going to really get hurt for a good while, man. And so, there's a lot of things that he's got to improve upon, but it is what it is, man. But it was a really excellent fight, and I was very proud of both fighters and how they performed. Let me see the chat real quick. Okay. All right. So yeah, I really enjoyed the fight, and it's gonna be talked about for years to come. And and the bottom line is like, it's just unfortunate thing, like, why do we have to keep asking all the other fighters out there to pretty much fight against the best? I mean, it's like, listen, it's time for you boxers out there, the younger ones out there in different divisions, start fighting against the best. Stop trying to play maneuvering, stop trying to play politics, because if you decided to face against another fighter that's probably hungrier and wants some more opportunities than you, and you play around with them and end up losing, that's on you, bro. Just look what happened to Jarrett Hurd. He could have fought against Jermell Charlo for all them belts at 154, but then he ended up playing around and ended up losing against J-Rock. And now Jarrett Hurd's career is pretty much on the downside. And now J-Rock's career, listen, J-Rock's career at this point right now, man, like, J-Rock needs to retire, bro. I'm sorry. I know some of the guys say he should probably move up to 160. No, I think he needs to retire, because the guy right now at this stage, right now, he's just going to be pretty much a journeyman fighter at this stage. I think his best days are over with now, and he's going to continue to get hurt. I think it's best if he retires. Just retire with your health intact, with all your money that you have, and just do something else, man, because I don't want to see J-Rock, getting himself hurt like that. So that's just my thing. So let me check out the chat real quick. All right. I see DJ23. What's up, man? He said the disrespect continues from the haters. Oh yeah. It's not a surprise. What's up, Nitty G? He said if Joshua would have just taken the $50 million. Yeah, but again, Joshua kept listening to Eddie Hearn too much, and now he's stuck on a lifetime contract with the Zone. That's on him, man. That's on him. Wilder tried everything possible to make the fight happen, but that's just the politics of boxing. Y'all know how it is. He said Williams Gardner said one hater that shocked me who gave Wilder a ton of credit. We were not is BFTV's favorite, the YB. I don't really care about him anyway. He don't even exist in my mind, so I don't really care. He can say whatever he wants. He can give him credit and all that, but please, I don't want to hear that from this dude, because I don't want to hear from YB, not BFTB, because he don't know nothing about boxing, so I don't even care about him anyway. But yeah, bro, if Joshua would have accepted the $50 million, we could have had Undisputed, and everything would have played itself out perfectly. But like I said, the politics of boxing is going to continue to play the same old politics of boxing. I mean, it just is what it is, man. It is what it is. But yeah, it was a really good night of boxing, man, and it was a really good card, man. I know my cable bill is going to be a lot expensive than the last one, so, but it's all right. It's $80 worth it, and I'm going to be talking about these fights for years to come. And if you had to decide best heavyweight trilogies, Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier are obviously going to be number one. To me, number two is Bo versus Holyfield in the early 90s. But to me, I think at this stage, I think Fury versus Wilder is going to be probably maybe number three in my view. I don't know many other top heavyweight trilogies out there. So I'm not sure. I may have to ask some of the historians about, great heavyweight trilogies. So I might have to do some, researching about that. Yo, coach, what up, homie? He said, fine, I catch you live. Man, I was trying to call you last night, coach. Your phone line was cut off, man. Listen, you better have the phone lines open tonight, man, because I got a lot to say tonight, coach. You better have your phone lines open, man, because I will be there tonight. You better have your lines open, because I'm gonna unleash a storm. Be in boxing news. What's going on, man? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. But yeah, bro, like, it was really good fight. Now, he said, man, I gotta give you myself. Hey, do this. Put this, if you still have Hangouts, just put the cell phone on Hangouts. You know what I mean? So he said, man, you definitely got it. All right, cool. Yeah. Will's going on and said, definitely Wilder and Fury is going to be number three in top three trilogies. Yeah. I think that is going to be number three. Holyfield and Bo was really a fantastic trilogy in the early 90s. Unfortunately, I was way too young to remember that. Because, we didn't have HBO back then. And obviously, I was not born between the Ali and Frazier fights, and they were wars. So, it's going to be a good discussion about which is the greatest, heavyweight trilogies. Obviously, like I said before, Ali and Frazier is always going to be number one because those two guys pretty much, established the boxing game, and especially for heavyweights. Ali Frazier, Bo versus Holyfield, and you could say Wilder versus Fury. Those are the three that off the top of the board as terms of heavyweights. I want to keep in mind this is just strictly heavyweights. Okay, we haven't had a heavyweight trilogy since. Those are the only three. Now there's been plenty of trilogies in different weight classes, but we're not talking about the other weight classes. We're talking about heavyweight. Those are the only three that I can think of off the top of my head. You know what I mean? In that order. Again, Wilder and Fury are going to be number three. Holyfield and Bo number two. Oh, shit. And as I see some damn turkeys here, get out of the way. God damn. These damn turkeys were at the middle of the road here. Man. And I almost ran into one. Man. Man, these turkeys, man, in Minnesota, bro, like, they just come out of nowhere in the middle of the road, bro. Like, I just almost ran into one. Holy crap. I nearly ran into a turkey, man. I would have felt real bad if I did that, man. Woo! Thank goodness I hit the brakes, man. And thank goodness there was no car behind me, too, so that helped. But, man, let me tell you something. Those three, fights in my list has to be top three. You know what I mean? It has to be. And you can grade it how you wanted to. I think Holyfield and Bo 1 was the better of the three between those two guys. Obviously, Ali and Frazier, number 1 and number 3 were the better of the two. And obviously, with Fury and Wilder, you could say number 1 and then number 3 were the better of those three fights. So, to me, that's how I'm kind of picturing that. Because you have to have drama, you have to have history, you have to have a championship on the line. You know what I mean? All these things have to be considered when you look at, great trilogies in boxing. You know what I mean? Especially as a heavyweight. And I'll tell you what, man. It was really a great heavyweight fight from start to finish, and I really enjoyed watching those fights, man. They're going to be talked about for years to come. But and so now I'm gonna go ahead and get something to eat while we continue talking this good boxing talk. So 1 second, let me get in here to get to my burger. We're gonna have something to eat today. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, it was a really good night of boxing, man. I was really enjoyed by that. Now, the next fight I'm excited about is going to be Caleb Plant versus Canelo Alvarez. Boy, there's a lot of bad blood between those two guys. Boy, boy, boy. I'm gonna tell you something. You know, Canelo got slapped at, and then Caleb Plant got slapped at. Boy, I'm gonna tell you something. There's gonna be bad blood between those two guys, and I think a lot more has to be proven by both men because Caleb Plant is the type of fighter that's really skilled, but has shown some vulnerability in the later rounds. You know what I mean? That his inability to try to conserve his energy and all that other shit, and also that Canelo's resume and his selection of fights has also been in question for years. So you know what I mean? Like, I'm really going to be excited at how this fight's really going to turn out, man. And I think that, you know, with those fights in hand, you know what I mean? I think that boxing right now is in a kind of a better place. I wouldn't say is in a really good place, but I'm excited about that fight. And I got Caleb Plant, beating Canelo Alvarez. But we have to really see how Canelo, approaches the fight. You know what I mean? So I can't wait to see that fight. And I can't wait when Earl Spence Jr. comes back from that eye injury, and and hopefully things get settled out in the welterweight division. So let me take this off real quick. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, man, it was a really good night of boxing, man. I really enjoyed the fights, man, and everything else. So I think that boxing at this stage right now can get better, but what Wilder and Fury showed to us last night is that you know even with superior skill or lack of skills, you know you could basically, if you still got the heart and the toughness and the resiliency, to become a champion, you can beat almost anybody. So that's how I kind of look at this whole thing, man. So it is what it is on that. But yeah, it's a really nice day out here in Minnesota, man. It's starting to get cold out too, so it is what it is. All right, man, it's a long line here too. So, but yeah, it is what it is on that though, man. But I'm gonna go ahead and just cut it off for now, though. I'll come back later on for another live stream, man. But really appreciate you guys coming in. Make sure to smash the like button on the way out. And with that, I'm out. Peace.